Hey, it's Jeff here from Sussex Installations. This is not a normal video. Normally we're doing videos on van security because that is what Sussex Installations is all about. But today I'm doing a little video on jet ski preparation, specifically preparation for going to Nazare. Once you've kind of got the right ski for the job, then it's a case of trying to make it ready for Nazare really. So if you were in the shore break, if you were to get rolled over, what you really want is that these compartments, like here, this front compartment and these seats, you really want them to stay on the ski, stay in place. The difference between these staying in place and then perhaps you can just jump back on the ski, or someone drops you back to get on this ski if it gets away from you, and if you can just start it up, or maybe the engine's already running, and just get out of there, like that is the best case scenario. That's got to be like so worthwhile. If you're at a point where maybe the seat has come off or a compartment has come off and the whole thing's filled up with water, there's no way it's starting. Like, your best hope is that it's going to get washed up at the beach and then you're going to be able to recover it from the beach. But you know, maybe it's going to sink even, like if a seat or a compartment comes off. Although my previous one, the back seat did come off on it and it did make it to the beach, but it was a big hassle. And then the thing's filled up with water, you know, it's got water inside. All the sand, like that sand, trying to get all the sand and the stones out from the Nazare beach is a nightmare. I must have hoovered mine about 20 times, my old one, to try and get all the sand and the stones out. And unfortunately it had been up the beach like a year before I bought it. And then like the parts inside, like this part for instance, this is a throttle body, electronically opens up the throttle, and all the rust and stuff inside this actual box from where that happened, where it filled up with all that salt water. Basically, the important key thing really, keeping these seats on the ski, so important. Keeping this front compartment closed, so important. The mirrors are one thing which I've taken off of this. Basically, having the mirrors not on there, it's just one less thing. Like, it's making this front compartment a bit lighter, but it's also making it smaller. So if you're punching through a big wave or a big wave's coming at it, there's less space, there's less stuff getting caught by the waves, which is going to rip the front compartment off. So these have come off, mirrors are off. Taking this part off of the rear, so I stripped these parts off of the rear area. These parts here, that's all basically coming out there as standard on the back of the ski. And then you've got that flap here which flaps down in order that you can flap it down and you can use your washout, rinse out the engine with a hose. So, but for us to kind of attach hooks on this for the rescue sled and for the tow surfing, it's better that this comes off. There is a hook that can be used and keep all these plastic things on there, but it just seems like the best thing to do for it ideally is remove this. Like if it's something that's going to be for Nazare only and you're not borrowing the ski, then it's something that can be done. Another thing was this step. So I took this step off. It will go on the back there, and that's not necessary. So we're going to have the rescue sled on the back of this ski anyway, so there's no need for that to be there, and that would probably just be pushing up at the rescue sled, which would be like damaging it. So I've got rid of that too. I've gone for this, which is 2mm stainless steel, marine grade stainless steel, and I've kind of worked out like a little way to loop the rope over as many times so that I don't need to sort of stitch a loop into the actual rope. So I'm quite pleased with that. I've gone one for the rear seat with the straps. I've put the one black one to hold on the seat here, the main one, and I've put the blue one here, although it's basically doing the same thing. It's holding the seat just a few inches back. But the idea being is that for a passenger, I tell them if they hold on to the blue one, then they can hold on to this one. If something happens to this, or it stretches, or it's like not fully holding the seat down, I just don't want to combine the holding the seat down with the pillion passenger having something to hold on to. So I put a separate strap for them to hold on to, and then the main strap to hold the seat down. As far as the front compartment goes, same sort of thing, but that's going where the mirrors, where I've taken the mirrors out, it actually provides quite a nice little gap, like groove to hold on to there. And I've put some of them mounts on the underneath of that panel on either side to anchor these down. And then that's the strap, that's the buckle. For the front like glove box compartment, I've put a strap, I've put this like vertically there. My previous ski that was done out by the previous owner had a strap sort of going over the front there, on the bottom half of it, going like horizontally over it. And when it went up the beach, this actually, the flap of the glove box still stayed there by some sort of miracle, but the hinges of this glove box were ripped out and gone and disappeared. So the strap was providing support this end, but it wasn't providing any support that end, and that end did sort of break away. So I've gone vertically with this, and I've attached another one of these buckles. I did have a little test run just here, and it was sort of banging around a lot where I had it loose, but I've put some plates to hold it in place here and here, and I put some padding on there so it's not banging around now, which I'm pretty pleased with that. The rear, we've got the factory tow hook up the top here. My previous ski did have the two hooks, one similar positions to this, one here for the rope to go up high and one down low for the rescue sled, and it kind of makes the rescue sled sit quite nicely like horizontal on the back of the ski. I really like the way that was sitting. I did speak to Carty, and he was saying about from the inside, like the reinforcement, like the old ski just had a plate on the back on the inside, and he was saying it probably is okay like that if it's just for one season, but having like the plate just going across the back, then they've noticed that it can start to stress the actual hull. They can stress the hull like where the plate would sit, the edge of the plate. So they have been fiberglass in theirs. So I decided I'm just going to do it, and I will fiberglass it. So I put some fiberglass, some chopped strand mat and fiberglass resin, and I did fiberglass to reinforce that back end, like from here around to here, and then a plate. I did cut a plate with the laser for the outside as well around here. So pretty pleased with those. I've just done a test run so far, and the sled seems to go on there quite nicely. We're also using these quite harshly as well. Like these skis, Nazare, the engines are ticking over. Like we're not stopping the engine because, you know, if a wave comes, that could just be too dangerous. You know, that's just an accident waiting to happen. So they will be ticking over, and all the engine compartment will be getting moisture in it. You know, especially like hot day. So any moisture going around, it can mean that there is like a lot of humidity inside the hull. Inside this whole compartment can be quite humid. So that can sort of perhaps lead to like more moisture being around, going in the air filter, and then if a ski was to go upside down, perhaps there's like condensation in the oil. Even if they've had the oil changed 2 or 3 times afterwards, there probably is some sort of condensation in the oil. So what I'm thinking is the actual a couple of mods which I think would be quite important are, I think, just take out the air filter straight away, the standard one, and fit it with a washable one. So I'm using the standard Yamaha air box, but I did take out the filter, that paper one, because once that gets moisture on it, it's like restrictive. The air is not flowing through properly. So I did swap that with one that's washable. It's like a performance air filter, but the purpose of me putting it wasn't to try and get more performance. It's just so that if there is some moisture on it, that it's not affecting like your fuel mix ratio. It's not causing a problem to the ski running. So that I think is a good idea to do. There's also in here a pipe from the breather of the engine which goes into your air, where the pipe comes from the air filter here. It goes in there, and then the ski is breathing like the dirty air from the engine, so it's not like the most oxygen air. And if there's some condensation or moisture in there, it could be sucking like bits of crap basically, which are then going through your engine. So I think that doesn't need to be there. I've used a filter on the end of that pipe, which I've located here, and I've blocked off where that goes in there. Something else that happened with my last ski was the supercharger bearing went. There's a one-way bearing on these superchargers, that if you put your finger in it and it spins both ways, it's knackered. Or if you're trying to use your ski and it's like only getting to like, I don't know, 50 kilometers an hour, or it's like low on power, it might be that's knackered. And people say that they can get these, like they can use the skis, like if you're going gentle on and off with the throttle, you might have a ski with 300 or 400 hours on the original supercharger clutch. But if you are sort of harsh on the throttle and harsh off the throttle, you're getting like a lot of boost from the supercharger that's not going anywhere, and it's kind of effectively making it hard work for that supercharger bearing, and that can cause like premature failure. Another thing, other than going on and off with the throttle, is that if your ski's coming out the water and then jumping, going back in the water, which if you're in a rough sea, boom, 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 it happens, like that's every time that's putting pressure on, that's unnecessary pressure on that supercharger clutch. So what I have done is I have fitted a blow-off valve to this, and again, this isn't for like performance modification, it's just so once it gets to that point where there's too much pressure in here, it lets it out. Some people say these are a great thing, they're going to save all the problems with the supercharger clutch. Other people say if you drive it sensibly, it's not a problem. My thoughts are, going in Nazare, over the bumps, on the waves, let's just put it in there because it's a big hassle if that goes. Then if that supercharger clutch fails, that might be the end of your trip. You know, no more ski on the water for you for the rest of that swell. You know, you might miss a swell as a result of it, or be caught in, or be getting nailed up the beach because your ski's not running right. So I think that is also a bit of a no-brainer really, just to go ahead and do that. And if that is being fitted, from what I read, it's best not to use the cheap like tap that it comes with where you go in on a pipe on the side there. It's best to buy an additional part which adapts the temperature sensor and fits in the center of the manifold there. I had a 2009 Yamaha FX SVHO before. It was perfect in many ways in terms of the power and stuff and the shape for like punching over the waves, but there were some problems with it. Mainly the 2009 SVHO had a reverse lever which was here on the side, like a manual lever, like a big bucket lever that you have to pull up. And I was thinking that what I'd like to do, I drove one of the skis very kindly. Sally let me have a go on this ski. Yeah, sorry Sally, won't mention the little bit of a swim that I had with it, but anyway, more or less that worked out. Did have a go on one of the newer skis, and the reverse being on the trigger here is so much better. It's so much more practical. Like, I think if you're picking up a surfer on the inside at Nazare and you're going in and you do need to kind of just switch the back over a little bit using the reverse, using a bucket is just not suitable. You know, it's not suitable at all. It's too much hassle, it's too much lever clonk pulling it up. And then also if you've got the bucket reverse and then you're trying to go off quickly afterwards, there is a possibility that you're still in reverse or that you're sort of in neutral where it's not fully home. So if you've got it with the reverse throttle here on the trigger, on the left trigger, you better slide it in, and then when you pull the forward trigger on the right here, it's going to be going in forwards when you pull away and throttle away quick to get out of there. So that's sort of one of the main things. The other thing was I just thought I'd update the ski. So my previous one 2009 and this one is 2017, and we've been talking about like the magic sort of year, and it seems like this sort of 2017 2018 year is a bit of an ideal year really for the ski. The display is this one. It didn't go all like computery just yet on this stage. The newer one, it's like a computer, and it's like lots of checks on it and lots of unnecessary complicated screen. I think not that there's a problem with it having that computer sort of stuff on the screen, but I think like the more basic probably the better really. The other thing with the newer one is that the start button is like shared with the stop button. So with this ski, this is sort of one of the latest year where the start button is here on the left of the handlebar. Nice green button for start. And basically, if you are starting with that, you know it's always going to be for start. The new one has a button on the side here, a red button, which is like start, stop. It's like wake up, start the engine and stop, and I think it's just a little bit confusing. If you've rolled the ski, and I mean I guess if you're Nazare, you've probably got the kill cord here anyway, so maybe the engine's still going to be running, but maybe it's not. If you push the ski back up, get it the right way and you hop on, you don't really want to be thinking, oh, start, stop, is it doing checks, is it doing a wake up process, and you're pressing a button and you can't even hear like if the engine's turning over or not. You've just got waves of madness going all around you. You're pressing the button, you don't know if it's trying to start or whether it's doing a check or what it's doing. So I think having this one, if the ski has stopped and you can see that, like, well, basically you just press that button and hold it until it starts, and it should, that's the only button you got to press. You don't need to worry about whether it's trying to start or trying to do a check or whether it's stopping and take your finger on or off the button. So that I think is the ideal thing. Just nice and basic. This is the FX SVHO. There is an SVHO cruiser version as well, and I think that probably either is suitable, but this one doesn't have extras. Like the cruiser might have like Bluetooth stereo on it, or it might have some like hooks where you can like anchor it and moor it up somewhere, and I think the cruiser, it's difficult to tell which one's which, but the Cruiser has some like definite like humps in the seat, which is like an indicator that it's a Cruiser if it is a Cruiser. So this one is the SVHO. It's not a Cruiser. It is a supercharger one. The V is the important part of that. If you're just looking for an FXHO, it's like high output, which ironically is not that high output because it's not supercharged. So you're looking for like that SVHO for that model, for the one with the supercharger. So hope this has been like okay, not too boring, and yeah, look forward to seeing you out there. And if you see me around Nazare, then come and tell me what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, what you guys are doing, and as a good talking point really. Yeah, interested to see how it can carry on to evolve and how the information can carry on to improve. Thanks for watching.